on live? Okay, good deal. Alright, today in Crazy Performance Repair, we're going to cover what's going on with these two vehicles I have right now. Now, I just recently did a short live stream on this one. It had a displacement on demand failure in the respect of a spun lifter. And so, this is the one that I showed you guys, and you can see it just freely spins. This one does not. It's supposed to be this one, and this freely spins. Now, this is cylinder number 1. And it is the furthest forward cam lobe on the camshaft here, which is also cylinder number 1 on this particular vehicle. So I'm going to go ahead and fire this one up. I finished up the full delete. Basically, I put a whole new cam in it, got rid of all the DoD system, and we're going to go ahead and fire that up for you so you can hear what that sounds like. Sorry, ear muffers. And it usually helps to have the key to fire up a vehicle. So you can hear this one's running really smooth. It's running great. I still got to do some cleaning up, get rid of the antifreeze spills, and then wipe down everything, make it look pretty, and take it for a test drive. But all in all, this one's pretty much finished and completed. It's running great. But I have something really ironic to go over with the other one. And so this other one over here, I think it has the same exact thing happen. Now, that is a 2009 Silverado. This is a 2010 Yukon Denali, I believe. It's the Denali package. And I believe the same exact thing happened. So I'm going to show you guys quickly the steps that I take to diagnose these things when I have this kind of failure. The first thing I did is I hooked the scanner up. Of course, I start it and I listen to it. But I also pay attention to what codes are in it. I clear the codes. And while the codes are cleared, something just landed on me. While the codes are cleared, I'll start it up again and see what pops up immediately. This particular one just had a 300 misfire code and didn't give me a specific cylinder, which is kind of odd, considering it had obvious misfires. At least one, it felt like 2, and I was correct. So I went to the live data, looked at the misfire data, and cylinder 1 and cylinder 6 were misfiring. Somebody has been working on this thing already, and I know that because I went to cylinder 6 to check out the plugs. I was going to do my compression check that I normally do, and cylinder 6 had the spark plug wire loose. So did cylinder 8, but cylinder 8 must have been close enough that it could arc. I replaced the plug wire because it was also damaged, and now cylinder 6 is not misfiring nearly as bad, if at all. It ran a lot smoother at least, so I didn't even bother checking it. But cylinder 1 is still a major problem. So I pulled the valve cover off, and the rocker arm is not loose on this particular vehicle. So since the rocker arm's not loose, I go ahead and I throw my compression gauge up on here, and I'll go ahead and bump it over slow so you guys can see this. So that's the exhaust valve right now. You can see that one's moving. And you see the intake one's moving. Now, if I go further, you'll see the compression spike up. Now see, I have compression, right? But if I clear this off, and now watch what happens if I actually let it crank for a decent amount of time. I have no compression, I have no movement on this. So what has happened is the oil pressure has built up either underneath a spun lifter, just like the other vehicle, or the VLOM has failed on this one. So I still have to find out what exactly it is, but this compression gauge is your best friend for determining if this valve is stuck shut. And when it comes to the compression gauge, what I've been telling a lot of people is do a running compression test. I'm not going to do it on this one right now, simply because obviously I'd have to put a bunch of things together, and I'm just doing a quick live stream for you guys to just get it out there because I don't have time to edit. I'm too busy. I got another one of these on the way Thursday or Friday. So I have quite a bit going on right now. But the running compression test, what you'll do is you'll hook your gauge up just like this is hooked up, just like you normally would to do a compression test. You disable your fuel and spark, you just unplug it, you fire up the vehicle actually, and then you go ahead and you bump this thing. And when you pump this, it'll drain down what initially spiked, and you'll see it start to go up just a little bit. It'll typically go between 60 and 90 psi, and that's at idle. And then you can bump it again to drain it back, do it again, and just see where it goes and get a good pattern. Then you can move on to one of the cylinders that you know is good and get that pattern and see what it is as well. If you have a difference of a lower amount, the lower amount is going to be the bad cylinder. That's the cylinder you're going to want to chase after. So that's a good way of diagnosing where you have an actual problem in one of these systems. Because a lot of times they won't show the failure in a compression gauge just by cranking it over, especially if it's been sitting for a while. This one, when I first cranked it over, it actually went quite a few times. I was like, what the hell? And then all of a sudden it collapsed and started squirting oil out of the push rod hole. So I just wanted to give you guys a good idea of what's going on here. Do you see any questions on there right now?
Nope.
Okay. Good deal. Then I can sum this up. So please make sure you hit that like button, like, share, subscribe, and as always, I hope to see you on another video. Thanks for watching.